The Party Trap: Why Organization Must Precede the Party, an essay on power mechanics and structural survival. The inversion that kills every revolutionary movement faces the same fatal temptation: centralize before the ground is ready, form the party, announce the program, recruit the members, hold the Congress. The logic seems sound. You need leadership, you need coordination, you need discipline, you need to act. This logic has produced every failed revolution of the last century. The party forms, the state notices, the party is infiltrated, surveilled, dismantled, the leaders are jailed or killed, the members scatter, the revolution dies before it begins. The party is not the problem, the party before the Soviet is the problem. The visible party before the invisible structure is suicide. 2. The bourgeoisie's methods of suppression. The state does not need to guess who you are. You tell them. You hold public meetings, you print pamphlets, you post online, you march, you chant, you scream, you paint a bullseye on your forehead and call it courage. The bourgeoisie's suppression methods are refined over centuries. Infiltration. The party that recruits openly cannot vet thoroughly. Agents join, they report, they provoke, they entrap. The party becomes a sieve. Surveillance. The party that meets publicly leaves records, photos, videos, membership lists, meeting locations. The state builds dossiers. When the moment comes, the arrests are efficient. Decapitation. The party with a visible central committee has a head. Cut it off. The body dies. The revolution becomes a history lesson. Criminalization. The party, with a name, a logo, a program, is easy to outlaw. The state declares it illegal. Members become criminals. The movement goes underground or dies. Co-optation. The party that survives infiltration, surveillance, decapitation and criminalization faces the final weapon: co-optation. Leaders are offered positions, funds are offered, legitimacy is offered. The party becomes a loyal opposition. The revolution becomes a reform movement. Every visible party faces these methods. Every visible party falls to one of them, not because leaders are weak, because the structure is vulnerable. 3. The Stealth Soviet, a different architecture. The Stealth Soviet is not a party, it is a discussion group. 2 people, then 10, then 100, meeting in apartments, parks, backyards, no name, no logo, no program, no public presence. The Stealth Soviet cannot be infiltrated because it does not recruit, it grows organically. Trust is built person by person. The agent cannot join because there is no application. There is only the slow, patient work of personal relationship. The Stealth Soviet cannot be surveilled because it has no schedule, no fixed meeting times, no announced locations. The state cannot monitor what it cannot predict. The Stealth Soviet cannot be decapitated because it has no head. Every local council is autonomous. Every delegate is recallable. Destroy one, the others continue. The structure has no single point of failure. The Stealth Soviet cannot be criminalized because it has no name. You cannot outlaw a discussion group meeting in a kitchen. You cannot arrest people for reading together. The state's legal apparatus has nothing to target. The Stealth Soviet cannot be co-opted because it has no leaders to bribe. Delegates serve at pleasure. They can be recalled instantly. The promise of a position means nothing when the position can be taken away by the council that granted it. 4. The power mechanics power is not held. It is exercised. The party that holds power is the party that can be stripped of it. The Soviet that exercises power through delegates is the Soviet that never loses it because the power never leaves the base. The bourgeoisie understands this. That is why they fear Soviets and tolerate parties. A party can be negotiated with. A party can be co-opted. A party can be crushed. A network of autonomous councils with no visible leadership, no fixed membership, no single point of failure. That is a nightmare. There is no one to bribe, no one to arrest, no one to negotiate with, only the slow, patient work of building class consciousness person by person, council by council. The Stealth Soviet is not a tactic. It is the only structure that survives contact with the enemy. 5. Class consciousness as the product. The party assumes class consciousness exists. It recruits from the already conscious. It preaches to the choir. It mistakes its own existence for progress. The Stealth Soviet produces class consciousness, workers who meet, read, derive, discuss. They do not accept consciousness, they forge it, together, through conversation, through disagreement, through walking the territory. Class consciousness is not a gift the party gives to the workers, it is the product of workers organizing themselves. The party that does not understand this is not a vanguard, it is a substitute, and substitutes become masters. 6. The revolution as emergence. The stealth Soviet does not wait for revolution. It builds the conditions for revolution. Every meeting is a practice, every delegate election is a rehearsal, every recall is a demonstration. When the moment comes, when the crisis hits, when the state weakens, when the workers are ready, the Soviets do not need to be created. They already exist. They have been meeting for years. They trust each other. They can coordinate. They can act. The party that emerges from these Soviets is not a target. It is a tool. It coordinates. It communicates. It serves. It does not command because it cannot. The councils hold the power. The delegates can be recalled. The party serves at pleasure. This is the inversion of the Stalinist model. Power flows up. Accountability flows down. The party is the servant. The Soviets are the master. 7. The bullseye. The party that forms before the Soviets paints a bullseye on its forehead. The state sees it. The state targets it. The state destroys it. The stealth Soviet has no forehead, no bullseye, no target. It is invisible because it is distributed. It is silent because it speaks only in trusted spaces. It is lethal because when it acts in unison, without warning, without visible leadership, without anything the state can arrest. The bourgeoisie fears this not because it is violent. The bourgeoisie fears this because it cannot be stopped. You cannot arrest an idea. You cannot infiltrate trust. You cannot surveil a conversation in a kitchen. You cannot criminalize reading. The only defense against the stealth Soviet is to prevent it from forming. That is why the state invests so heavily in division, in surveillance, in the illusion that protest is resistance. They want you screaming in the streets. They want you painting bullseyes on your forehead. They want you visible, loud, and easy to destroy. Do not give them what they want. 8. Start now. Find one person. Read together. Derive the chain. Build trust. That is the first Soviet. Find another. Then, another. Let it grow organically. No name, no logo, no public presence. Just the slow, patient work of building class consciousness person by person. Elect delegates. Recall them if they fail. Coordinate with other Soviets. Share strategy. Build the network. Do not form the party. Let the party form itself from the councils when the councils are strong enough to control it. This is not patience. This is structural intelligence. The revolution is not an event. It is a process. The process begins now, in silence, in trust, in the work. The party can wait, the Soviets cannot. 9. Conclusion. The party before the Soviet is a target. The Soviet before the party is a fortress. The bourgeoisie has spent centuries perfecting the destruction of visible enemies. They have not spent a fraction of that effort on invisible ones, because invisible ones do not exist until they act, and when they act, it is too late. Build the stealth Soviets. Build them locally. Build them in silence. Build them with trust. Let the party emerge when the structure is strong enough to control it. This is not theory. This is the only strategy that has ever worked. The Soviets of 1905 were destroyed. They rebuilt. By 1917 the structure was ready. The party emerged from it. The revolution succeeded. Then Stalin inverted the structure. The party became primary. The Soviets died. The revolution died with them. Learn the lesson. Build the councils. Keep them invisible. Keep them accountable. Keep them armed with nothing but clarity and trust. The bullseye is not courage. It is suicide. Stealth is not cowardice. It is survival. Build or be replaced. Those are the only options.